Oh, shit. Friggin' bloods. Ah. I guess one more. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of Dead Money with Dan Arfin. Like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Hadn't played much poker recently. That's why I haven't talked to you in over a week. After I got smacked at the win for about 2,400 a couple weeks ago, I just didn't care for a few days. And then I wanted to play on Friday, last Friday that is. That's April 10th. But I didn't end up going out till about 3 in the morning of technically Saturday. I decided to switch it up, and I went to the Bellagio, the 500 max. And by the way, as I would learn this night and then later that night, both the Bellagio and the Aria have now joined the Venetian in doing double board PLO bomb pots every dealer change. So twice an hour, you're going to be playing a double board PLO bomb pot, unless you sit out. Now look, I know the game has changed over the years. I know we're in another era of poker, and it's amazing to have crossed over from one to the next. But this I just kind of can't believe, and I'm really fucking unhappy about it. These bomb pots take anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes. So that means you're giving away 4 to 12 minutes every hour. If you want to take the mean average and call it 8, then call it 8. 52 minutes for every 60 are you actually involved in a hold'em game. And I think I've said here before, I'm just surprised that gaming even allows this. I mean, I know that you can do a bomb pot, but wouldn't you think the bomb pot would at least be of the game you're playing? I mean, the Win isn't doing this yet, and the Win is my main room, so thank God for that. I'm just praying they never make that change, but holy Jesus, I mean, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't really play at the Venetian anymore because I got tired of sitting out the bomb pots. I mean, yeah, I guess I can just go to school on double board PLO and learn how to play these. Because everybody says, and I see it for myself, people are absolutely terrible at these. They make incredibly big mistakes. But you know something? This is still going to be very high variance. 2 fucking hands an hour. It could take you the rest of your life to fucking maybe realize the variance. I mean, when it talks about realizing variance, I always see that glass half empty. I'm always worried it's not going to happen. I mean, I know I could sun run and win a ton of money at this shit, and, it's just ridiculous, but I don't like the idea of just having the potential of so many sessions being swung based on what happens in these goddamn double board PLO bomb pots. I mean, all right, if I want to go learn about it, then I'll have an edge at it, but I still won't have as big an edge at that as I will at Hold'em, even, no matter how bad they play at PLO. So, God, I mean, I like having these rooms as backups, but now, I mean, I got to give away all this extra time to go fucking play. I mean, but whatever. First world problems, as they say. And I guess it's true that if I am going to be playing at the Bellagio and Aria, I mean, most times I'm going there only for a short session anyway, so there's that to consider. But either way, I mean, I don't want this to continue. I am not happy about this. But anyway, so while we were playing Hold'em during the 24-minute down at Bellagio, I got there, I think it was 4-handed, and, you're just hoping the whole time this game doesn't break. I see a guy opening the small blind, big blind 3-bets, he calls. And the flop comes 7-5 deuce. Small blind check calls the big blind. Then the turn is a 6, and he bets the turn. The guy jams, and this guy nit rolls the fuck out of him with 6s and 5s. He's got 6-5. I mean, it was like maybe a little bit more than a min-raise jam on the turn. He probably bet like 120, and the guy makes it like, I don't know, 280 all in, 270. I mean, you're sitting there with 6-5. What the fuck are you doing? So he calls, and of course the guy has an overpair, and of course the overpair counterfeits the 6-5, hits a 7 on the river, but it's like, dude, you kind of like deserve that. Like, you don't deserve to stack the guy if it takes you that fucking long to realize you have to call with that hand. Then a 1-3 player transfers in because his game broke, and he does the good old open limp from the button, and then limp raises, because I had ace-jack offsuit in the small blind. I had made it 30, it folded back to the button, and he makes it 65. And he had like 230 altogether. And I wanted to just spaz and rip, but it's like this min-raise-ish limp raise from the button, he probably just has something. He probably just doesn't want to go raise and take. So I fold, and he shows pocket queens. But right before I folded, I was like, the button limp raise works. And he shows the queens, and I was like, I'd have 3-bet it for you. He'd have won more money that way. Then he gets defensive. He's like, I'm just playing, bro. I'm like, okay, Jesus. Can you take a little fucking needle about anything even after you've won? And then the other player in the game, it was this black kid, the guy who had 6-5. He says to the guy, kind of cocky. I couldn't make up my mind if this black kid was cocky or friendly. I kept going back and forth. I ultimately decided on friendly. But in this moment, I thought cocky because he says to the guy, he's like, we know you're new to the table. He's like, but don't limp that hand on the button. And I'm like, okay, you tell him. Game is about to break, but I get one more hand. I'm probably up like $100 or so. I get queen 6 of clubs, raised to 20. Our cocky but friendly friend in the big blind calls. I flop an airball, 10, 7, 3, 2 spades, check. Turn is a 9. I check, he checks. Turn is a deuce of spades, so 3 spades out there. No betting on the flop or turn. I guess the pot was up to 40, 45. I mean, I just throw in some ridiculous overbet, just thinking, there's no way he considers calling with king high, ace high, or some tiny pair. Instead, he snaps it right off with the 10-9 offsuit. So just your standard in-position check with top pair on blind versus blind. And then your standard in-position second check. Check flop. Turns top 2. Just your standard in-position check with 10s and 9s as well. Okay. Then it got to me and heads up with that guy. Oh, by the way, I hadn't busted out my cowboy hat and long black raincoat, duster-looking coat, and I figured at the hour of the day it'd be a good time. But anyway, it gets the heads up between me and our black friend, and I'm only calling him black because he's black. No other reason. All right, may I continue? Thanks. So we get the heads up. He was running kind of good against me. I mean, I was getting a little annoyed, and then he raises 15. I 3-bet 60 with 6-5 offsuit. I don't know if solver says this is okay. I mean, in this situation, I think listening to the solver makes a lot of sense because you're playing heads up, and I know the guy's going to open the button with a lot of shit that's probably going to be correct to be opening with. So it's like, what do I do? Well, I did what a lot of people do when they start losing, especially heads up. They just try and make something happen. So I raise a 60. I don't know why. I know he's calling. Comes queen 5 deuce. I bet a third. Bet 40. He calls. Turn is a king. So now the pot's up to about 180, and I bet 160 to make him fold either a 5 with a better kicker or maybe 6s, 7s, just some kind of hand that has me beat but isn't doing too well against this run out. Or who knows, if he has any floats, if he has any draws, I mean, you might even be able to get called by a worse hand. Going to be hard to play the river, but hey, it still might happen. He calls, and it seemed like there was never a shadow of a doubt, and then the river was an 8. So, oh yeah, I had the board wrong. Let's go again. Queen 4 5 king 8, because I remember 6-7 made the nuts on the river, and I had a 6 blocker, so I was just thinking about that. But I was thinking, I think betting is really a good idea anymore. I mean, I don't know. He just felt kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't sense like this guy was worried about anything when he called the turn. And he had just lost a small bluff to me, very small. I check, and I only got about 230-ish. He bets 180 into 500. And I tanked for a while. I mean, I was trying to come up with a reason to call. I kind of felt like I was going to fold, though, because I don't know what the hell I'm beating here. I mean, he called the 3-bet. He called the small flop bet. Maybe the guy just fucking turned top pair. And I was going through all the different ways. Maybe he could have just floated with something and missed. But I didn't. I unblocked the backdoor flush draw that came on the turn. I blocked the nuts. I mean, he's jamming the nuts on the river. Come on. I mean, I had a hard time folding this. I mean, I did fold, but it hurt. And then he asked after if I had a queen. So between that question and him mucking, probably the right fold. So I lost a few hundred, then I walked over to the Aria, and now I'm awake. Now I'm ready to play. Like when I showed up at 3 in the morning because I couldn't sleep, I didn't want to play 300 big blinds deep. I just wanted to get a little trigger time in at the 100 big blinds at the Bellagio. Didn't go well after an hour, and now I wanted it, It's not that I was on raging tilt, I wanted it now. When I sat down in my cowboy hat and duster, one guy said I looked like Ron Jeremy, and another guy said I looked like the porno star Randy Savage. I thought Randy Savage had done something else with his life, but maybe he didn't. I was in this very annoying spot where I raised to 20 with pocket eights, and I get 3-bet to 50 with a guy who had like $130 when the hand started, and I should have just put the fucking money in, but I folded thinking that I'm just crushed or beat and probably crushed way too often. And maybe I am. Maybe it was a good fold. But the guy was such a putz that I think he was just making it 50 because like, ooh, 50, let's make it 50 with this hand. Not considering how little he has in front of him and why he should not be 3-betting to any size but all of it. Then there's an under-the-gun raise to 15, and I flat ace-queen offsuit in the big blind. Now, I tend to 3-bet this hand pretty often, but I opted for a call this time. I mean, I still think I should have 3-bet. The guy is nitty and not impressive. Just fucking put pressure on him. But we go to the flop, which comes king 10-9, 2 hearts. I have the ace of hearts. I check, call 20. Thought about check raising, but I call 20. Turn the nuts with a jack. The nutsos with the ace-queen. But we go check, check. I thought about leading. River's another jack. So now I really can't get called by much except maybe like a counterfeited king 10 or king X. Ace king. I mean, I think king queen bets the turn. I bet 40 he raises me to 170. I mean, he's got a million boats. Hell, I got my share of. I got some boats here too. So I fold. Then there's a limp. I raise to 25 in the cutoff with king jack offsuit. And the small blind 3-bets to 85. He was just some other so-so looking net. I finally threw in a 4-bet bluff. I made a 225 with fucking king jack offsuit. And of course he snap calls, but then the flop comes 6 deuce deuce rainbow. He check folds pretty fast to 180. So I battled, but I was just kind of getting nicked and cut, both Aria and Bellagio. So I ended up losing about another 560 in just a few hours. And then I went home and slept. Which brings us to the next Friday night. This is April 17th, and we got some hands to talk about here. I was having a good night for a while. I was playing pretty good. I was up over 1,000, just chopping at people. Really good game. Then I raised under the gun with ace-king of clubs. Oh, by the way, before I continue this story, I've been hearing some complaints about people wanting me to post, like, visuals for these hand histories. And it's a reasonable request. It, of course, takes a lot more work, especially for someone like me. You know, I've been thinking about doing video here. I've been thinking about doing stuff like that. And I might one day. Hell of a lot more work. But I'll tell you something else, people. You're listening to this program, you want to hear the hand histories. Just listen to the fucking hand. I mean, you want me to fucking go back and go through the board over again? Fine. But you know something? It won't kill you to just pay attention. Just put your dick away for 5 or 10 seconds, and I promise, OnlyFans will still be there when you get finished listening to the hand. I mean, what is the deal with everybody? Nobody can fucking focus on one thing anymore. What, am I talking too fast? So I raised to 20 with ace-king of clubs. You know, the black one that looks like a little clover. There's a call, and another call. And then the button 3-bets to 110. And that was surprising, because the button hadn't done any 3-betting. He's this big fishy looking player, but he's got a lot of money in front of him. He's got rows of reds. He's got a yellow chip. This guy hasn't been getting out of line any which way. And I know what a solver says, that you should be flatting ace-king offsuit out of position in a 3-bet pot when you're deep, but you should 4-bet ace-king suited. Okay, you know something? Fuck the solver, okay? I ain't playing another solver. I'm playing this fucking douchebag. So whether 4-bet is correct against his true 3-betting range or not, I mean, I just play against the way I play against these fucking 3-bet ranges, and that's pretty fucking nitty. There's other soft players in the pot. Let me just freaking call, and I'll just play posts. So one guy also calls the 110, everyone else folds, so I guess we got about 350 out there. And the guy who overcalled closing the action, he's just as bad nit in my opinion, and now he's even nittier than he used to be. And the flop comes ace-10-5, rainbow, and we all check. And it makes me feel good about my decision to just flat the 3-bet, because now it seems like the guy who called or the guy who 3-bet the button would have definitely called a 4-bet. Probably has a big pair, jacks, queens, kings. Doesn't make 4-betting ace-king suited bad. I just don't think it's totally necessary, and I just want to pick and choose when I want to do that and have specific reasons for doing it, not just pure. So the turn comes another 10, and I'm not worried about the guy who overcalled closing the action having a 10 in his hand. I mean, maybe he flopped 5s, but that's probably it. So I bet 150. The reg folds. Big surprise. And now the button picks up his yellow chip and he says 500. Where the fuck is this coming from? I mean, He ain't going to have 4 10s. He's going to bet the flop with 3 10s. Does he just have the one fucking combo of aces? And if he does, why is he raising with it? I mean, well, you'd think you would just call, going to bet my 10s on the river anyway, get a big pot in anyway. I mean, what is this fucking guy raising this turn with? I mean, people check back the flop and then they raise the turn. There ain't too many bluffs in there. And this guy hasn't done any bluffing. He hasn't needed to bluff. And when people get up a lot of money, the last thing you want to do is start bluffing it off. Every time this guy picked up his big chip and announced his bet, he had a huge fucking hand. I mean, I'm just so surprised to see him check the flop. I mean, it's like, it's so hard to find value in this line he's taken. It's so hard to find value, but it's even harder to find a bluff. You're like, oh, I only lose to aces full. Well, aces full might be the only hand that makes even remote sense. Or maybe, just maybe, he did 3-bet a 10. Maybe he did have Jack 10 suited. Maybe he did throw in a fucking 3-bet with a hand like that, making my flat bad pre-flop, and maybe I should have 4-bet him. Maybe he does have Jack 10 suited. I mean, I blocked King 10 suited. I blocked one of them. There was only one combo of King 10 suited left because I had the King of clubs. So I just didn't know what to do here. I mean, I couldn't see this guy checking back ace, queen, ace, king. And if he did, why would he want to be raising this turn with it? I mean, it just didn't make any sense for me to have the best hand. Did his value line make any sense? No, but the bluffing line made even less sense. Just enough. And then a little while later, we get into this 5-way limped pot up with the straddle on, and nobody bets the flop. And then this guy bets $10 into 50. He bets into 4 other players on the turn with 4-3 offsuit. The board, I think, was like queen 10, 8-8. It was something like that. I don't remember what it was. He bet 1/5 pot into 4 players on this turn card. And after seeing that, it's just like, all right. He didn't show me before or after I tank folded. Something tells me he wasn't bluffing when he 3-bet pre kind of big, checks back flop, raises turn, but now in this pot he bets $10 with 4-3 offsuit limping in. Does this seem like someone who had a bluff in that hand before when I had ace-king suited? I mean, come on. Yeah, one hand has nothing to do with the other, but when it comes to fish, the hands kind of do have something to do with each other. Because they're not thinking. Then I play another pot with this guy. I mean, he was making it 15 or 20 most of the time, and now he gets to his cutoff and he makes it 35. And we see fish occasionally just do this where they just use some randomly huge size pre-flop from any position. Sometimes it's a huge hand. Oftentimes it's a huge hand, but not necessarily super often. And sometimes it's just something random. Sometimes it's just, oh, this looks pretty. Hey, fuck it. Let's just throw some money out there. I'm winning. Small blind calls, and he was a fish too. Like I said, this game was really good. I call big blind with ace-jack of diamonds. Flop comes king 10, 6, rainbow. I got the backdoor flush draw, but we all check. Turn is the 9 of diamonds. Now I got the nut flush draw, blocker to the nut straight, although 7-8 is also a straight. Small blind checks, and he is not checking a real hand. Any type of real hand. So with 100 in the pot, and the original raiser making it 35, checking back pre, all right, here we go. I mean, I overbet 130 into 100, and maybe this isn't really necessary size to pick. Bluffing is fine, of course, semi-bluffing with this much equity, but maybe you don't have to go this big. Say what you want about that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is the size I picked. And now he picks up his yellow chip and raises again. He makes it 380. He checked back this flop after going 35 pre. Now he raises to 380 on this turn card, where 2 straights have materialized. I thought about it for a while because I was just like making sure I'm getting the right price. And yeah, of course I'm getting the right price. Then I was thinking about what I wanted to do on rivers because there were 9 flush cards, of course, but 2 of them paired the board. Sometimes there's only 1, but this time there was 2. And I was thinking about, all right, I can call and, try and hit the flush. And if it pairs the board, I'll check. Which in hindsight, I think is a big mistake. Because I don't want him checking back some stuff he's going to call with. If I hit a board pairing diamond, I bet big and he raises me, fine. He hit the 2-outer cash card. He probably turned a set, and now he just has a full house. It's not a hard decision. I should not be thinking this. And had this been this scenario on the river, I may have changed my mind and bet. I mean, I was thinking I was going to check, but that doesn't mean when the moment comes I wouldn't have changed my mind. Now, if I hit the straight, I hit the granddaddy nut straight, and I don't want to check that because I'm worried he's going to check back too much shit that way. And then I was also thinking, what am I going to do if a jack comes on the river? If I hit a jack because there's still 4 to a straight that way, maybe I can lead massive and just rep the straight that way because I can definitely have a straight, but I don't know if he can because this line he's taking is just very strange. I have the nut straight blocker. I mean, if a jack comes, I don't know if I should blast into him. In any event, though, I call his 380. Would have been less if I had bet less on the turn, but I call his 380. And the river is, I brick. The board pairs nines. I check playing to fold, so just to recap, since you people can't keep up with the fucking hand, the board is king, 10, 6, rainbow. 9 of diamonds on the turn. Now there's 2 diamonds. 9 of something else on the river. Flush misses. I got ace high. I check. He checks. Now I'm thinking fuck as I turn my hand over because now I think I got bluffed off the ace king in the other pot and figuring I'm going to lose this hand too. And I did lose his hand. He turns over the winner. But you know what he's got? King 10 offsuit. So he's going 15-20 the whole session. Then it gets to his cutoff and he makes it 35 with king 10 offsuit. And then the small blind calls and the big blind calls and he flops top 2 pair and he checks this hand in position. Now, I'm not saying his in position check is like this terrible mistake. I mean, it's probably not bad to do here and there. Rarely, but here and there. And that's what he does here. And it just makes me think that he definitely had it when he raised me on the turn where I had ace king. 3-bet pot, ace 10, 5. We all check. He checks in position, 10 on the turn. I bet he raises. Who knows? Maybe he just thinks jack 10 suited is a pretty hand, so he 3-bets to 110 and then he gets this beautiful turn card. I mean, I wasn't too worried about him bluffing there, but after seeing him check flop with this huge hand as well, then I was truly not worried. But okay, things working out for him. Then we got an under-the-gun raise and a few calls, and one of the other bigger fish in the game meant to 3-bet, but he just flatted by mistake. And I had king 5 of clubs on the button, and I'm deep with this fish, and I would have just folded this hand, even with that fish in the pot. But knowing that he wanted to 3-bet, now this makes me want to call, because now I know if I make a big hand, I already know that he has a big starting hand. So it might be worth it. So I call 15, I guess we go 6 ways, and it comes ace 10, 3, 2 clubs. Nut flush draw, because the ace is a club. The first guy checks, the original raiser, and then the next 4 players check. And whenever you have a single raise pot, and you have people checking after the original raiser has checked the flop, those players checking after the pre-flop raiser they are so capped. They never check a real hand there. Most of them don't even check an ace, even an ace with no kicker. But with them all checking to me, with 5 other players, I just decided, even though bluffing here looks very credible and strong, I'm still just going to check. I'm worried about this fish who wanted to 3-bet. We know he doesn't have an ace, but I'm just worried that, I don't know. I don't think checking here is that great, actually. I think betting and barreling off is probably fine. So, whatever. I check. I improve on the turn with a 5. And now one of the nittier players who had checked the flop, he was the first to check the flop after the original raiser. So he had 4 of the players behind him. So maybe he just had a really weak ace. He bets 50 into 90. And the fish calls and I call. And I drill the nuts on the river with the 8 of clubs. So, hooray! I pay attention, play a hand for a specific reason that I wouldn't normally play, and I wind up with this, the nuts. Now let's see if I can get called. They check to me, and I go pot, pretty much 225. And the guy who bet the turn, this reg, never seen him before, he's thinking for a while, he folds, and the fish pays off. He tanked for a while, but he paid off. Pocket queens he showed after. No clubs, no diamonds. Then this game got kind of boring, so I table changed to a game that looked a hell of a lot better, and it was a lot better. Starts out with, though, me 3-betting kings. This new player just joined the game, this young Asian kid. He's sitting about 1,200 deep, maybe more. He makes it 15. I make it 55 of kings. He calls out of position. Flop comes queen, jack, jack. He checks, and I just already have this sick feeling. I mean, I can just probably bet fold the flop. I mean, you don't see much check raise bluffing going on in 3-bet pots, so I think bet folding is totally fine. But I check back in these spots a lot anyway, and I check here. Turns at 8 of spades. Now there's a flush draw. I have a spade. He bets 80 into like 110, I guess. I call. Planning to call a lot of river sizes, but we'll see. River's an ace. Ugh. He checks, though. And I decided I'm just going to spit on him and bet 1/10 pot. I bet 30, thinking I might be calling a check raise. But he calls, and he wins with jack 9 of clubs. So he just calls this out of position 3-bet with jack 9 suited, just a classic fuck up from people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and promptly outflops kings. Although thinking back on it, if he had check raised the river, that's probably not a good sign because if he's bluffing the turn, I mean, he can just bluff the river. And if he has a hand I beat, he probably won't turn it into a bluff by check raise bluffing. He might just call with his queen tens, king queens, queen nines suited. I mean, those are the hands I'm betting 1/10 against. But he had it. So that hand he had opened from middle position, but then his next hand he opened from early position under the gun. Makes it 15, there's a call in the middle, and I 3-bet king queen off to 70. Our Asian youngin calls again, and we go heads up. And the flop is annoying. It's ace jack 8, all clubs. I don't have a club. He check calls 70. Maybe it was 75. Turn is a total fucking brick. It's a 3. Now we know he's getting to the turn here very, very wide. So I think I gotta fire another barrel, even though I did so hesitantly, and he check calls 230. I think I bet that into like 290. And then the river is another brick. So it comes ace jack 8, 3 clubs, 5-3. And he checks. And I hate leaving a big pot out there, and I looked at his stack, and I knew he was a little weak. He had about 650 left. I mean, can I shove here? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm afraid this guy's going to just find some silly hand to call with too often. I figured to get, like, his second pairish hands to fold, like a jack or just a pocket pair with a club. I felt like those hands would be folding to the turn barrel, so if he's calling the second barrel, then maybe he's got top pair with something he's willing to die on. We see the kinds of hands fish stack off with, so, I mean, god damn it, I just gave up. And he had ace 10 offsuit, no clubs. So, would he have folded to a shove? Maybe. But who knows? Maybe he just decides to make me show it to him. I don't know. How are we going to know? So then a couple people leave, and I move 2 seats down to the right to get this Asian kid on my right. Then another player joins the game. Another reg I've been seeing around Vegas for years. He's some type of European. He's not really particularly pleasant company, even though he's never, like, terrible to anybody. I mean, I've seen him get bitchy when he loses. When people get lucky on him, he makes some whiny comments. I respect the fact that he wins. I don't respect him beyond that. I think he's a nit. He does not impress me. And I don't want to be playing with him because who the hell wants to play with this guy? But lately, he and I have been battling a little bit. And when I say battling, just more like he has hands he can 4-bet me with. He had played with me for a while and probably never thought I was that aggressive, but in recent past, he's seen me show up with some aggressive hands at some unexpected times, so he has now been aware of that, and I know that he's aware of that. And he's 4-bet me a couple times, at least once. And he's the type of player that, like, he's got like that Bellagio 5-10 style of play. I mean, they're just always gonna fucking have it. They just want you to think, oh, I know that you bluff, so that means I'm 4-betting you back light. No, you have a huge hand as always. A couple weeks ago, I had raised to 20 with queens, and he 3-bet to 60, and a fish cold called, and I 4-bet to 180, and he fucking 5-bets. I mean, yeah, over my dead body. Maybe not over my dead body, but probably over my dead body that he even has ace-king when he does this. He ain't gonna 5-bet. Unless he's sure he can play the hand for everything, unless he wants to play the hand for everything. So we have a dynamic going where this guy, I think he's more aggressive than he is. And if he is thinking that, and I think he is thinking that, he's dead wrong. The needle has not moved a single millimeter with this guy. I know the needle has moved for me. His perception of me has changed, but my perception of him is exactly the same. If anything, you're just going to be nittier. So he's new to the table. He raises to 15 under the gun. We get a call. And this game sucks, by the way. I mean, it had just been very good, but now a couple people left. Now all of a sudden it blows. And I have ace-ace in middle position, so I 3-bet to 65. And it gets back to the under the gun raiser. Let's call him Charles. Charles is pausing and hesitating. I'm thinking, wow, he's going to 4-bet me. I mean, if he's going to call, he's just going to call fast. If he's going to fold, he's just going to fold fast. If he's thinking this long, then he's probably going to 4-bet. And he makes it 200. Folds back to me. Now, we're both pretty deep, and I thought if I'm going to 5-bet, I'm just going to 5-bet shove, but I don't want to 5-bet shove. I think that there's actually a chance he could only have queens, and if I 5-bet shove, I don't know if he's going to take that big of a chance at queens. He's going to be thinking, oh, I'm either only a little ahead of ace-king, or I'm crushed by aces or kings. That's what I thought was going to happen. Would he stack off with kings here if I jammed? Yeah, probably, but kings is going to get stacked on a lot of boards post-flop. So it's really more about just protecting against pocket queens, because if he has pocket queens, he's going to get himself in a lot of trouble in a lot of spots after that. So we got a little over 400 going to the flop, and the flop comes like the door card is a queen. Here we go. Queen 6-6, 2 spades. I don't have a spade. He bets 100, quarter pot, a little less, as we often see in these 4-bet pots. And without a spade in my hand, I raise to 260. Because who knows, maybe there is a chance he has ace-king suited of spades. Or he just has kings and he might think that I have enough flush draw, he might just rip right now. Or if he doesn't rip right now, maybe, if he gets passive on a spade turn card, maybe he'll we'll at least have bloated the pot a little bit more before he slows down. Now, if he calls the flop raise, now I know there's a better chance that he has queens, but it doesn't matter. If he has queens, I'm losing it all to him on just about every other run out that couldn't come out here. It would take a king to get me to really slow down. So he calls the 260. The turn is a 9 of hearts. Now it's a two-tone board, and I kind of like that, just because if he thinks if I could ever be raising with backdoors, now there's two ways I can have a flush draw, making him even more likely to put the money in with kings. He checks. I bet 425 into, I guess, around 930-ish, or I don't know. And he jams, and I think this is all going perfectly. His jam is only a little over 500 more. I call him right away. The river bricks. Pocket queens. Full house. I lose. And I quit shortly after this, so I lost over 1,600 in this session after being up well over 1,000. Or over 1,000. Sorry, not well over 1,000. So a big upstuck followed by, a loss. Been getting smacked around kind of hard these last 3 sessions. But I'll tell you, I was disgusted after this hand, and I'm still disgusted. And once in a while, poker does this to you, where you run so bad in such a sick, disgusting way that you just are disgusted. Hence why I use the word disgusting. Let me tell you why this is so aggravating. We all lose to fish sometimes. They make blunderous errors. They don't know what they're doing. They're like a 3-year-old boy trying to cross a 6-lane freeway without getting hit by a car. We depend on beating these people, for most of our win rate and everything, and we know that they're going to catch their breaks. But what pisses me off more than anything else, what tilts me harder than everything else, is when you're playing against a reg who's probably a pro. Nits, by the way, take themselves so seriously. Do you notice how seriously the nittiest players take themselves? These nits who think so well of themselves and should know a lot of things and should realize a lot of things. And they just make this incredibly massive mistake. And just not only do they not get punished for it, they get the maximum reward. Let me tell you why his 4-bet to 200 with queens is absolutely terrible. I told you, I had not moved the needle 1 inch on this guy, 1 millimeter. And it had moved significantly on him just by virtue of the fact that he would even 4-bet that hand. If he still perceived me the way he had before, he would have just called, I guarantee you. If I have jacks, if I have 10s, ace-5 suited, ace-10 suited, ace-queen suited, anything, he's just making all of these hands fold. And yes, he's denying equity. He's also taking away my ability to bluff, which I am absolutely willing to do. I know he knows I'm willing to bluff. That means I'm not going to do it against him. Because he knows that I know that he knows that I know. The guy can still fold. It doesn't mean he's not going to fold to me. His hand does not perform well at all as a 4-bet. All it does is make the worst hands fold. And bloat the pot against the bigger hands. Whenever he calls this 3-bet now we realize just how capped he is. He is capped at like jacks. If he's 4-betting queens there, yeah, maybe he's going to 4-bet ace-king too. And if I have queens and he 4-bets me and he gets me off the hand with ace-king when I have queens, okay. It's not horrible. Or the other way around. If he 4-bets queens and makes me fold ace-king, okay. Not horrible. Works out for him, but that is not the worst thing in the world. But when he takes the power back, when he takes the aggression back, he is going to lose a lot of money on so many boards that don't run out like this. He gets a queen 6-6. I have to double him. There's 6 combos of kings. And I don't know if he's playing kings any differently than the way he played this hand. But this is just a bad 4-bet against me. It's because he thinks I could be 4-betting, kind of light now, so I could even put queens in my 4-bet range. No, you cannot. This guy got completely fucking owned. He was completely fooled thinking about what's going on here, what my calling range against his 4-bets is going to look like. My 4-bet calling range is not going to be any wider than I don't know. Probably not even calling queens. Because it's not going to be jacks. It's ace king, aces are kings. All right, do I need to go to hell with queens in that spot? This guy set himself up to get so fucked. And he sees how lucky he got. It's like, when he sees me snap call his check shove on the turn, he doesn't know if it's kings or aces, but he knows it's one of them. And given how badly he got played in this spot, he probably thinks it's just fucking kings and doesn't think I would flat aces in position. I don't know. But the point is, this guy got totally fleeced. He's just totally overestimating how he thinks I'm adjusting to him. I am perfectly aware of how this guy has been adjusting to me. I've seen all of it. He's sitting on fastball. I threw him a curveball. I mean, you say, how bad can be 4-betting queens out of position? How bad can it be? Well, let me tell you how bad it can be. I mean, it puts himself in a position where he's not going to get any value. That's how bad it is. He takes away my bluffs. That's how bad it is. Yes, I have ace-5 suited when I fucking 3-bet here. Of course I do. I got tons of things. I'm not showing him any respect. I show so little respect, or no respect, for so many people. I don't care what spot they're opening from. If they're using their normal size, if I have a playable hand, and I don't think they're ever going to 4-bet light, I 3-bet them. Get it heads up, get it in position, get them checking and guessing. That is no way to win. This guy just has no idea what a big error he made. I mean, he may think that, he probably still thinks he owned me in some way. He probably thinks, oh, he had me cooler and then I got lucky. No. I ain't calling with pocket nines and you're just getting all this value from me. Or tens, or jacks. None of those things are happening. When your 4-bet is called, you are in deep shit. And he does not realize that. And if he does realize that, then why is he 4-betting? Suppose we get a jack 6-6 flop instead. What's he going to do? Is he going to just check and call? Yeah, maybe. All right, great. Check and call. I got you beat, buddy. You're worried about jacks? No, I had you all the way when you were 4-betting, building a pot for me. This fucking guy, I mean, it's just so sick when you got these regs who you know you're better than. When you got these regs twisted up, all confused, all tied up in knots, leading them totally the way you want to be leading them, and they're just falling right for it. And then this happens. I mean, look, it's poker. We all know that. I mean, but fuck me. I mean, this fucking guy did not deserve this. So sorry. Only he knows what he 4-bet and 5-bet and those other pots we played before. Yeah, I've bullshit that he ever 4-bet me light or 5-bet me light. Please. When the same player gets hot against you, when the same player is consistently 3 and 4-betting you, don't worry about it, all right? He's not picking on you. He's just caught a wave of cards against you, and that's it. Don't overthink it, because he knows you might want to fight back at some point thinking you're being bullied, which just makes the probability of him having a big hand even larger. But this guy's thinking, oh, well, this guy 3-bets, so I get the 4-bet queens. No, you don't get the 4-bet queens there. You don't get to define your range. You want to call there because you're going to keep your range far less defined, and you can call down a lot more often. If it comes jack high, king high, I mean, you can call down. It might not be fun, it might be hard and stressful, but you can call down. Once he 4-bets, it's just such a huge spew. Maybe he doesn't want to let the other player in. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't do anything that's possibly good for him. It's just the highest EV move there is call. Anytime you're making a decision, you always need to remember, what is this achieving? What is this doing for me? What does this bet, check, fold, whatever accomplish? So, all right, back to battle this weekend, I guess. I mean, I've lost my last few games. Been kind of ugly a little bit. I had my biggest 2-5 downswing in quite a while. Thankfully, of course, the player pool is so soft that my downswings these last few years, 5.5 years, I guess, are none too hefty. I mean, I got a bigger bankroll than I was playing when I was in my mid-20s and playing a lot higher. My night-by-night losses and extended losing streaks were covering a way, way higher net worth percentage. So, this hand just hurt because it's this ain't even about the money. This is about the game. I mean, we know it's about the money, but fuck. Guy hangs himself with queens in a terrible spot, and then he gets this freaking board. All right. Trifecta. That's what it takes. If that's what it takes to beat you, then you know you're playing well. So, I mean, I felt good about most of my decisions tonight. I mean, there's usually one or two of them you'd like to have back, but hey, on to the next one. We'll see you next time, guys.